Today I'd like to share with you a simple and powerful technique, a breathing technique to make you calm down right away. And this technique is a pranayama, a breathing technique called anuloma viloma, alternate nostril breathing. And what I will do is first show you the actual breathing technique, and then I will give you a little bit of a scientific background as to why this actually works. Now, the technique is very simple, and that is exactly what we need when we're anxious, because at that moment we don't really have the mind to deal with complicated things. So the technique is you just sit up straight and you're going to use your thumb and this finger here, number 1 and number 4. And you are going to sit up and you're going to close this one nostril and very gently you're going to breathe in 4 counts. And then you're going to close both nostrils. And then gently you're going to breathe out another 4. You're going to hold this, breathe in, hold, also 4, so it's 4, 4, 4, and then exhale 4. And then again, inhale, hold 4, exhale, hold 4. Now, you can change and play with the numbers of how long you breathe in, how long you hold, and how long you breathe out. The main thing here is to do this in a very gentle way. So if you would look at a graph, and when you breathe in, you wanted to make it smooth, and at the top you kind of round off and then hold, and then round off going down. You don't want to be doom, boom, boom. Like in other words, like you don't want to do this harsh. You want to do this very gentle and go in a rhythm. And do this very gently. And you will find that in a few moments' time, the mind, the left and right hemispheres of your brain start to sync. They start to go into balance. And it's very, very powerful how a simple breathing technique like this will help you calm down immediately. Now, why is this? Why does it work? When you think about a tug of war, there is 2 parties pulling. It is true that if I pull, the other party is coming my way. If they pull, I am going their way. In other words, we are now connected through this rope, right? With a tug of war. You have to look at this tug of war as the mind versus the breath. The breath and the mind are this tug of war, and they are connected at all times. Is it not true that if I am really, really anxious, how do I breathe? I will breathe. If I am angry, how do I breathe? If I am relaxed, what do I do? If I'm in shock, what do I do? I don't breathe. What is the first thing they tell you when you're in shock? Breathe, breathe deeply, breathe. People hold their breath when they're anxious, suspended. So in other words, the breath and the state of mind are connected. If I'm in a certain state of mind, I find myself unconsciously breathing a certain way. Now, if this is true, if breath and the mind are connected, if my breath responds to the way I am breathing, if my breath responds to the way my mind is it not true that if I would reverse it, the tug of war, it would also work the other way around? In other words, if I start to consciously breathe a certain way, would not my mind respond? Yes, it will, because the tug of war now, I am pulling with my conscious effort. I am now starting to control my breath, and you will find that the mind will respond accordingly. Now, why is this so effective? Because when you are anxious, when you're in a certain upset state of mind, you're not feeling quite right, you don't really have time to think. I mean, you can't think because your mind is upset. So what do you do? Don't try to think. Breathe. So the only thing you have to know is we can all count to 4. 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out. That's the only thing I have to think about. I have to think about doing the breath work, and then I have to count till 4. That shouldn't be too hard. So all I have to do at that moment, I'm going to sit down and not feeling right. And we're going to breathe in 4, hold 4, out 4. And keep doing this for a few minutes, really calm, really gently. Feel the breath coming in. In the beginning, maybe, I may not be doing so well. And after a while, as I become more focused and concentrated, I start to control that breath. You will see that slowly the mind will start to focus. It starts to balance out. And it is magic. It is magic because now, just with my intention of breathing, my mind starts to follow. And this is a very powerful method. As a matter of fact, a lot of our clients, they keep telling us, I can't meditate, it doesn't work, I'm so restless, blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is that actually, we are so busy and our mind is all over the place, and you ask this mind to stop with the same mind that is restless, it doesn't work. So there is a missing part, and the missing part before meditation is this breath work. Now there's a million forms of breath work, but I have found this one to be sufficient. I do this every single day when I go in my little shrine and I meditate. I don't do a million forms of breath work. I don't do all kinds of difficult things. All I do is this alternate nostril breathing for a few minutes, and I find my mind immediately starts to sink into this beautiful feeling. You go deep within. The more you practice this, the waves of the mind start to subside. And that is really what this breath work does. It starts to regulate the left and the right brain, the irregularities, and you find yourself kind of becoming more flat in your brain frequencies. And that's where the meditation happens. So if you want to learn to meditate, you want to learn to be calm, first do the breath work. It's as simple as this. And so why does this work? The thing is, the secret of this connection between the breath and the mind has been long established. Ancient traditions have been using this. But it is actually also used even in pain management. When we find that people are in pain and they are so in agony, and if you would put biofeedback sensors on people in pain, you will find that their brain waves are erratically going up and down in a very anxious form of turbulence. And if you start to ask these same people to breathe in and out very slowly and very deeply, you will find that the breath regulation, by going, balancing out this breath, that their mind frequencies start to drop. And when the mind frequencies drop, the body starts to become less aware of pain, because pain is in the mind, though you feel it in the body, but it's interpreted in the mind through different signals that the mind is receiving. And if you would alter these waves in your brain, you will start to find that even pain becomes less. Your whole body gets to be in a much better state of flow. And so it's really, really powerful. And so I really invite you to practice this. With these things, breath work and meditation, the proof is in the pudding. There's no point talking about it too much. There's no point denying it. There's no point poo-pooing it, like, oh, this stuff doesn't work. Why don't you just practice this for, let's say, a week? Every day you take 5 minutes and you go and sit down with your spine erect, and you're going to calmly breathe in and breathe out. This thumb here. Hold 4. out for in, same nostril, hold for out for in, hold, out. This holding of the breath is called kumbhaka. And in an ideal world, during that hold, you are between two thoughts. And it is this kumbhaka that is the magic sauce of breath work. In this calm state between inhale and an exhale, when there is no thought, there's not even a breath, there's just a calmness, you will find with a little bit of practice that you're going to touch something magical inside of you, because at that moment there is no brain wave. And the idea here is that between the breaths, between the motions of the mind, the stillness of your internal being can manifest through the waves of the mind. The reason why the inner peace is not experienced in our day-to-day life is because these waves of the mind are kind of sitting in between my internal being and what I experience in my conscious mind. And during this kumbhaka, when there is no brain wave, I breathe in, I hold in a complete stillness before I exhale. In that stillness, I can feel the self manifesting. You may say, wow, that's a lot of talk, that's very complicated. Nothing could be more simple. I tell you, with a little bit of practice, you will start to feel this. The key here is consistency. Like I said, consistency, and the proof is in the pudding. Just please practice a little bit. Do this for a week, 2 weeks, a month, and then you will see not only will you calm down, you will actually fall into a meditative state. And before you know it, you'll be meditating in a wonderful, deep way. So this is all I want to share with you today. A very simple and elegant breathing technique, alternate nostril breathing. And tell me in the comments how you experience this and what are the manifestations of peace that you are going to experience. And don't forget, like and subscribe.